Did you know a bottle of good tequila is worth $75? I didn't, and this is why I don't mess with spirits.
That feeling when it's 3 a.m. and you're wide awake, finally writing that novel in your head, but you're just too warm to get a pen.
Ugh, I know that feeling. I also know the feeling of waking up and one of my earplugs has gone missing, and I will sleep no more.
Ah, how I love the smell of wood-burning fireplaces in the air. Or is that a raging forest fire?
Hard to say. Have such a good day. Hello, world. Welcome to Have Such a Good Day, the show that wants you to do just that.
Episode 119, Sarah Lane. What do you think of that?
Oh. You can't see me, but I'm putting my hands in the air like I just don't care.
Oh, yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
119 is almost 120, which is almost 121, which is that palindrome.
Yes.
Yeah, we're close. We're close.
I think that the fall air has gotten into our brain holes a little
I
bit.
think I might be a little insane, Heather.
Yeah.
I think I might be a little insane.
I think we all are on some level. I mean, come on,
Yeah,
it's
but
more fun being a little insane, don't you think?
I mean, sure. I don't really have an option, but we are fully into fall here on Have Such a Good Day, and Heather and I are, we're ready. We're ready for fall.
We're ready to unpack the absurdity of everyday life for your entertainment. That's what we're
Indeed.
ready for. How is
We
everybody
are.
doing?
Yeah, where are you? How are you? Are there leaves falling at your house?
What
are
is
you
up?
are you maybe just starting summer if you're, in the southern hemisphere? I don't know. We welcome all.
We can't know everything and everyone.
Yeah. In fact, we rely on you to tell us what's going on. If you're in the southern hemisphere and it's summer, please do tell us. Hi at havesuchagagoodday.com. Otherwise, welcome all. We do the show once a week, every week. Heather and I are doing our best to try to stay sane in this crazy world that we live in, and the fact that you're all with us for this crazy ride makes us a little bit more sane every week.
It does. Oh, it really does. It's like, yeah, it's like I look forward to this every week because it just sort of like settles my brain. You know what I mean?
Aw. I mean, yeah, I'm like, oh, cute, but I'm like, totally same. So I'll get right into this. So
Dive right in, Sarah.
as everyone knows, Heather and I both sort of live, we're on the grid, but we're like on the edge of the grid of civilization, right?
Not fully
And
off the grid, if you will.
yeah, we're on the grid, like, internet wise, but as far as like being present physically, we're on the edge.
On the
And
fringes.
I've been trying to kind of deal with, how I feel about that. Like, is this right for me? Is this not right for me? Blah, blah, blah. For 2 years, I have now lived in the woods in my little wood cabin for 2 years, and it has gone by quite fast. And of course, I moved in here just before the pandemic started, but that has been more or less my reality since I've lived here. And I've thought a lot about, what that means and, what I need to do to be happy, if that is staying here, if that's moving somewhere else, if that's something in between. I don't know. And a lot of other people I know, you can relate, because it's just been a really weird year for anybody trying to make like big life decisions. It's hard. It's
Yeah,
very hard
it
to
is.
make big life decisions where you're like,
When
"But
everything's
I
so
don't know how
uncertain."
the world is.
Yeah,
Like the world
exactly.
might like change drastically, and that would like screw up my big life decision. Anyway, so I'm kind of chilling, but over the weekend, I've got a friend who she has some family stuff going on in Chicago. That's where she's from. She lives in San Francisco now, and she is not there. And told me, "Hey, you should like go hang out at my house. I mean, I won't be there, but I mean, house is just hanging out empty, and I would really appreciate if you like watered my plants." And I'm like, "Girl, I am the plant
I got
waterer." Yeah, right. Like
Extraordinaire.
literally, my entire life is about watering my own plants. Like, I do not want one plant to go unnoticed. So so anyway, as luck would have it, I have a lot of friends who live in San Francisco, and that's the city that I'm talking about. And that's the city that I grew up adjacent, but also lived in for many years. Heather did as well. And I know it well, but I haven't actually been there on any regular basis for a couple years. Like, didn't even go. Didn't have a reason to go. Pandemic, work slowed down, the whole thing. So I packed up my dog and my car on, over the weekend. It was Saturday morning, went across the Golden Gate Bridge, had a panic attack the entire time I was on the bridge because I don't like
You
bridges. Oh yeah, it's like kind of a problem.
Yeah.
But I got past it and got into my friend's house. So cute, like such a great just like great neighborhood, so close to like cool stuff. There was a Phil's Coffee right down the street, and my dog and I, we went to Chrissy Field and ran around, and it
Nice.
was like so great. And I saw a lot of friends that I just like. They were like, "Oh wow, Sarah, did not even
Where have
know
you
that you
been?"
like were still alive." And I'm like, "I was alive the whole time, and here I am." You know how it is.
Yeah.
Like you sort of show up and people are like, "Yay, great."
Yeah.
Because we've been here the whole time. And I'm like, well, and I wasn't here the whole time because I was like afraid of going to a city because, of, this, that, and the other. But I spent like really 48 hours. It wasn't like I was there that long, but hanging out. I took Otis with me. So I had my doggo, and we walked across that city and back again like multiple times. We ate cookies and had weird sort of juices from various
Oh yeah,
places where
like
it's like
fancy juices.
fancy juices, exactly, and burritos, pizza, saw all the friends. It was so much fun, and
Aw.
I came home this morning, so I'm back home at my house now, and there's actually some like there's some feelings of sort of like I'm glad I'm back home.
Sure,
Everything's like
of course.
quiet and still. After having been in the city for a couple of days, but I had to kind of come to terms with like how much I like being around a bunch of people doing shit all the time. And that's a city. Like even if
Yeah.
you like, you're packed up in your house for the night, but everyone around you is also kind of like doing their thing. Like
Yeah.
there's something really nice about feeling like you're sort of packed in with all these
Totally.
other like human rats.
Oh yeah.
And I don't have that where I live now. I'm truly just in the woods, and I loved it. Oh my God. And Otis loved it. The dog. Like we went to various amount of parks and met all these other people with dogs, and what's your dog's name? Oh, my dog's name is Otis. What's your dog's name? Oh, this is Barbara. I don't know. I'm just
Barbara the dog.
Barbara the
Barb.
dog. Yeah. One more Barb for Heather.
Oh God.
But like so many, like it was just great just to be
That
like
sounds
there's
awesome.
so much stimulation going on around me. Like I gotta tell you, I'm not gonna do anything before 2022, but I think I'm gonna take the next couple of months to really think about this.
Yeah. So you
Because
you could imagine yourself there again, like in San Francisco, or just in potentially a city, just any city.
potentially a city for sure. I actually I know that this is how I can be my best self. I want to be around other people. I
Yeah.
don't have to like be friends with all the people, but just sort
Knowing
of
they're
like,
out there.
yeah, just walking around the block and being like, I talked to like 10 people just now,
Yeah.
rather than me now being like, I might not
I
see
saw a
another
bird.
person, this
Yeah.
week. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw a bird. Yeah, like, there was
We don't speak the same
a deer
language.
that got hit by a car. Like,
Oh,
like it's like very different.
yeah, of
Very
course.
different.
Yep.
I had such a great time in the city, Heather. I
Good.
can't even tell you. And
Wow.
there are a lot of things about San Francisco that I have issues with, but like, man, I had a good time. It was just like I felt alive.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely, look into that a little bit and see how you feel in a few months, just after the winter. Maybe you can have another like
Yeah.
long visit. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually on my way down to Southern California. Well, I'm going to go through the Bay Area. I will go through San Francisco. I may stay one night in San Francisco this next weekend, and I'm going to be gone for close to like 10 days, which is actually kind of feels like a long time. I mean, in, COVID time, being away from like your humble abode. But I'm looking forward to that too. Like I definitely need a little more stimulation. I've got like a really action packed week, which is like so typical me. Like I will just literally like book dinners every night. Just I'm going to be running around the city, and I'm excited to see how I react to it. Because it could be really overwhelming, or I could feel like you. And I mean, obviously, LA is a bigger city than San Francisco, but I
It's
am excited
different.
to feel the energy of
Yeah.
it. So,
It's hard
but
to
yeah,
compare the two. I mean, San
yeah,
Francisco is truly a city where, I mean, I don't know,
it's a small
depends
city.
on your shoes, but like you can walk across
Yeah,
it. You
totally.
can't do that in LA.
Nah.
LA
I know
is more
someone who
of like a
did,
variety of
and
cities that are clustered together to form a
exactly.
large city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. It's very spread out. And yeah, and there's something, it's funny because it's like, even being in LA surrounded by all these people, like you were saying, you get comfort from having neighbors, someone on the other side of the wall kind of thing. I get both of those feelings. Like sometimes I feel that way, and then other times I feel really cramped, like I'm in a sardine can, and it's like you're in an anthill. So it's like it just depends on the day. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I think, oh gosh, it's like where can we find the happy medium? In my mind, it's that like pied a terre I keep talking about. Like, can't I just have? I'll keep my house here, but like half the year I'll be in like my little modest bungalow somewhere in the desert or somewhere in a city where I can get the opposite of what I get up here. Because I have to say, like, I do love, I don't know, conversing with nature. There's something really special about that. And lately I've just been getting so like Tony Soprano emotional about birds. It's like I don't know what it is. I think especially because I had a recent visit this weekend from a goose, a Canadian goose specifically, which is like my favorite bird of all time. One of my favorite things ever is to see them in the sky as like a flock, and they're cruising, they're migrating or whatever they're doing, and they're honking all the way across the sky. And I just think it's so funny. Like it's just like, what are they saying to each other? And it's just like this really heartwarming experience. And so I see this goose, and I'm not joking. He's cruising, he's waddling all over the property all day, honking, like like looking for his
Just
flock,
like,
and he's got these like his feet,
buddy.
like are kind of like he's walking funny, like geese do. And I swear he's looking for his flock. Like it was sort of sad because I followed him for like a while, and he covered like pretty much the whole property, which is almost 8 acres. And I didn't get too close to him. I'd say maybe I was like 8 feet away. But I named him Gus, and I grabbed some Cheerios, and these were, he didn't seem interested in my Cheerios, even though I thought maybe he was hungry. And they were the
Yeah.
organic kind, but he didn't seem interested at all. And I kept throwing Cheerios like toward him to see if he would like be interested. I mean, I must still look like a freak. I'm like following him around my property, and like
Like,
finally, I mean,
please, Gus, eat the Cheerios.
eat my Cheerios. It would bring me so much joy. And then like I follow him all the way to the cliff's edge, and it was pretty foggy. So it was like that real coastal fog that's like pretty thick around the cliff, and you kind of can't see the ocean. And again, he was at our property all day long. And then finally, and I feel a little guilty. Maybe I shouldn't have like stalked him, but he flew away into the fog, never to be seen again. And it kind of,
Oh.
I was like touched, but like kind of teary eyed. And I just was sort of sad
That
for
is
him.
very
Like,
Tony Soprano,
I know it was
honestly,
weird.
where you're just
It
like,
was.
what? But that's it.
But like what? And I
What?
think maybe I was like
are you coming
worried.
back? Like you didn't even leave me a note.
Yeah, and I was kind of worried that he like really got pulled away from his flock and he was looking for his brothers and sisters, and it kind of made me sad that he
But
just flew away into the fog like that, and I don't know where he went. But then I'm cruising back to the house and there's like these dozens of fat quail. I don't know if you have quail by you, but this is the state bird.
we do. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they're the cutest things. I think I've mentioned it on the show before.
They can fly, but they don't.
No, they scurry.
They don't.
They
Yeah.
scurry super fast, and they are hilarious to watch. And I took out my binoculars, of course. They're like running
And,
into
like,
each
I mean,
other.
A mama quail with her little babies is the
It's
cutest thing you've ever
so
seen.
cute. And you have to yield to them on the road because of their big
Oh, yeah.
booties, and they're like they take up room, and you can't like go around them. Sometimes you kind of have to just like let them pass. But they're so damn cute. But I found that observing these critters, obviously, I think a lot of people can relate. Observing animals brings you joy. That's not really what I'm talking about. Maybe sadness, maybe because we can't communicate with each other, and that we just want them to know that we want peace and love, but we can't tell them. It's like I couldn't reach out to Gus, because he was just like, he would be 10 feet away from me and no less. Like he was kept waddling forward. He didn't want me to get close. Maybe it's like
Right.
the untouchable cuteness and their quirky personalities. There's just something about I just get emotional about it. Like, and I want to know if you guys out there ever get emotional about something kind of in the natural world. Email us at hi@havessuchagooddday.com.
Yeah, please do. I definitely get what you're saying, Hev. I
I mean,
don't know.
maybe I
I
get
mean,
sad about like the oil spill, that we just had in Huntington Beach. And then I think of like all the like tragedy, the forest fires and like all the things that
horrible.
happen that like take these birds away from us or take these animals. And it just, it breaks my heart. It's sad.
Yeah, it's funny. So one of my so I'm from where I live now.
More or less.
I grew
yeah.
up more or less right here. And I remember one of my aunts who is from Los Gatos, but spent a lot of time overseas and, really likes this area. And she was like, it's such a great area. Like, I mean, nothing more beautiful than like Russian River Valley. However, a lot of roadkill. And I'm like, oh, no,
man.
a lot of roadkill. And I mean, it's true. Just, this morning I was coming home from San Francisco, going back to, my little wood cabin in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, baby dear, on the side of the
Oh, I
road where
hate
it's
that.
like, who takes care of that? I'm not totally sure. They kind of just disappear after a
I've
while.
met some people. There's a crew. Like I've met some people who
Yeah.
there's kind of a deep crew that they search for these animals and then they call to get them picked up, and there's a whole kind of operation. But it's so sad.
sad. Oh my God. And like sometimes I'm like,
Kills me.
It very much like, I mean, this is sort of the human condition. Like I really care about stuff like this. Some people don't care.
No, I was
some
just
people
gonna
are
say
like,
the same thing.
we're glad, like maybe we'll like use it for venison or I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I'm like this is like a day ruiner for me,
Yeah.
if I see this at like the
too.
wrong time in the morning.
Yep.
And yeah, it's
It's a hard thing to contend with, being a human and like
is. And
sharing the
yeah.
world with these creatures and killing them with our cars. And I have a really hard time with it. And and the world is big. I mean, think about all the roadkill. I don't even want to know the statistics at all. So
Right.
please don't email that to us.
I mean, if you have thoughts, please do email us. I mean,
Yes, please.
we'll deal. But
Yeah, we will.
I know it's tough stuff.
Tough one. Yeah.
Tough stuff. Another thing that's tough. So just to kind of compound on that weird feeling for a minute and make it worse. But so, as anyone who follows the show with any regularity knows, I'm, kind of going through some medical stuff. I have breast cancer, and I'm gonna deal with that as well as I can over the next weeks, months, years, hard to say. Certainly weeks, months at this point. But part of that is, you have to have surgery, and there's, reconstruction, and there's stuff. And, when someone looks at me, straight on, I'm not going to look like I looked right now in a couple of weeks. I just won't. And that is, I could, be crazy and cry about it all day, but I'm not. And I'm mostly sort of being like, okay, well, this is a new era, right? New era of Sarah. And part of that has a lot to do with reconstruction of whatever felt normal for me naturally. I won't have that anymore. So what do I want to have myself look like on the other side of this? Again, I'm doing my little Hail Marys, that I would have the opportunity to even have that option. And I don't really know. I don't really know yet. But I will say that I, as a internet detective, as you all know me at this point, I know everything there is to know about breast cancer, even stuff that doesn't apply to me, and even stuff that is about sort of like reconstruction that also doesn't apply to me, because you can go a lot of different arenas. But I am super obsessed now with women who do very dramatic tattoo stuff to like cover up scars, on their chest going forward. And that is, sometimes there is no chest. Sometimes there is reconstruction. Sometimes there's, some form of the two. But it's, it's very, like, you would look at somebody and be like, whoa, you're like a tattoo person, right? If you didn't really know why they had done that.
Sure.
And it doesn't mean that they're not also, fond of tattoos, but a lot of this is in the vein of covering up scars and just being like, you know what? F it. I'm just going to, do something very artistic and kind of crazy. And that is going to be part of whatever you would see if you looked at me either without a shirt on or maybe with a bathing suit or whatever, and I'm kind of like, that's pretty cool. I kind of like that. It kind of gives me like a little bit of hope. Like, if I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh man, what a mess. Like I love the idea of the tattoo just because I like people who have a lot of tattoos. I have one little small tattoo personally. But I never really, I don't know, never really thought about it beyond that. But I like the look.
You like the look of it, yeah.
I do. Like I would probably get a sleeve, if I'm like I had the money and the free time.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my mom about this recently, and she was like, because I was sort of like, listen, if things go pretty sour, like chest wise, and, I kind of feel like the tattoo is sort of the only thing I can do to sort of cover up some like botched situations, I might do that. And she was like, cool. I also want a tattoo.
Oh, that's so
and I was
cute.
like, Mom, really? Like where? And she's like, I don't know. I just kind of want one. Like it would be fun.
That's your
like,
mom
we
is
can
so
do it
cool.
together. Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
that's so cute. And it symbolizes so much. Like that's what I do like about body art is it can, symbolize like a part in your life and transform whatever it is that you're, maybe it's like has bad feelings, but like this tattoo kind of brings some like a positive spin on it or something.
Yeah.
And I
Totally.
like that. I like that idea.
Yeah. Yeah. My mom was like, "You're not going to get a neck tat, right?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not
You're like,
planning
maybe
on it,
Otis
but like,
will, but
would that bother you if I got a neck tat? Like, I actually like think neck tats are like super cool. I mean, it's a little much for me personally, but
yeah.
like, I like them." And she was like,
Yeah.
"Well, I just, just think about it really hard before you do that." And I'm like, "Okay, mom, we'll get tams together. It'll be great."
Oh, that's so great. I love it.
Yeah.
We might have to
Yeah.
have a behind the scenes video for that one.
I mean, I'm telling you, like I like a good neck tat. I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
dude.
I
Well,
don't
let's
know what it
see.
would be, but I know it would be right here, and I would look so good.
Well, I'm really curious to hear your ideas when the time comes.
Yeah, I
Listen
just
to your dreams, Sarah.
it's also just like I don't know. I mean, there was a time back in the day where it would have been like, oh, if you have something like that, you wouldn't be able to get a 9 to 5 job, right? Because
Yeah.
you're like too on the outskirts and people like would be worried about you. Like, I don't think that's what we're talking about these days. I
Nah,
think
not as much
and that's a
anymore.
good thing. I hope. I feel like I could be like, yeah, I have a neck tat, but also like I'm super skilled in all these ways, and people would be like, cool, great, love it. Who cares? Yeah,
Yeah, who
about your
cares?
tattoo. I would hope so,
Well,
you
some
know?
people, I think, depending on where you live in the United States, might not like your tattoo, but there are tattoo haters for sure. But doesn't really matter so much anymore. I think in
Yeah.
terms of just you can kind of do what you want. It's your body. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how I feel.
Yeah. I just, like just a little something something on my neck. Why
Yeah,
not?
maybe I don't know, Canadian goose or something. That's what I would
Maybe
do.
so. Yeah. Yeah.
Or a
Just to be
quail.
like, Canada, never been there. Woo!
Honk
Not true. I've been to
honk.
Canada a couple times, but that would still be quite a flex.
Oh
Quite a
yes. Yeah, that
flex.
really would be. That really. Well, keep us posted on, I don't know, your design ideas. I was going to say just pay
Thank
attention
you.
to your dreams because there might be a little sign in there. Or there might be something symbolic that you can pull. Like, for example, my second dream about Denzel Washington, what is up with that? I mean, I wouldn't make a
Yeah.
tattoo out of
I
that, but
think you
like,
might have a crush
geez.
on Denzel Washington,
No, I don't
Heather.
even think about him. Like, I don't even
Don't
really
you
watch
though?
movies. No, I don't though.
I
It's
don't
so
know.
strange. I'm like,
You're
what is
dreaming about
like?
him a
I mean, I
lot.
I get it if it was like young Gregory Peck or, like someone who I actually do maybe fantasize about. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. As I mentioned earlier, I am venturing out into the world very soon here. Not that I haven't ventured out in the world before, because I've traveled quite a bit. Maybe not as much as you, Sarah, but I used to live in
Oh,
Europe
you're a
and
traveler.
I'm a
Yeah.
traveler. I mean, I would say, yeah, this year has just sort of like beat us all down on some level, and I haven't been on a plane for a while, and I'm actually going to take my car on this one because, man, it is crazy out there, the whole rental car market, and I just don't want to deal with not knowing if I'm going to get a car and just having to Uber everywhere. I mean, I'm going to a lot of places. I'm seeing a lot of people, so I kind of want my wheels. But it's going to
Yeah.
be quite a journey because I'm basically like heading down to the Bay, and then from there I'll head down to LA, and then from there I'm going to Joshua Tree, which is deeper in the desert. So it's going to be a lot of driving. But I'm working on my playlists. I rejoined Spotify, but I continue to listen to Joey by Concrete Blonde like on repeat. I don't know what's up with that. But I am obsessed
Yeah.
with that song for some reason
It's
right now.
sort of a sad
It
song,
is. There's
also.
something, the tone of it is like, I like it right now.
Baby.
It's just like, and it's a good karaoke song. Like I've karaokeed it before. It's a fun one. And I guess it's about, I think it was like a lover who was like an alcoholic or something, something about like a romance. But anyway,
Yeah.
so apparently, and I'm sure that you've got a friend out there who, whenever you, I don't know, complain about something, like say, you are expressing annoyance about something, and then that person goes, dude, Mercury is in retrograde. That's why that happened to you, kind of thing. And It is happening right now, this Mercury in retrograde. I don't think about this all that much, but I've been thinking about little components of it. So I thought I would bring it up, and I'm not going to get into all the details because I don't know all the ins and outs. It's very complex astrology. It affects every astrological sign differently. I'm not going to get into all that, but it's, supposedly happening between September 27th and October 18th, which is now, and basically covers my entire trip. So yikes. But in short, it's the time when Mercury, the planet, reverses course and moves backwards. So it kind of supposedly like throws the universe into turmoil. So it's like, it triggers, it allegedly, it's kind of like a phenomenon. Think of it as sort of like this universal phenomenon that like allegedly triggers like miscommunications and tech glitches, like dropped calls and disappearing emails. Like you get like interpersonal relationship issues. There's like wrenches in your travel plans, and like you've got unclear negotiations and just endless frustration about like all the things. And like I said, I take this with a grain of salt. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's some truth in it, because sometimes when we're in these phases, things do feel kind of out of whack, and the universe is a powerful place. So I don't doubt that there's something to it. But yeah, just like this whole thing with Libra right now, because we're in, obviously you're a Libra, we're in the Libra. I have more people in my life with birthdays in October than any other month. It's crazy. It's crazy. One of these days I have to decide not to get birthday cards anymore because it makes me crazy. But anyway, it's also a good time. It's not all bad, okay? It's a good time to kind of step back and chill and just like pull back from the hustle and just maybe like regroup, reflect, reorganize all the REs in the book, clean out your closet, reassess something that's been bugging you about yourself, like, make yourself a better person or whatever. But I think me, like leading up to this trip, I think about all these things that I'm going to be doing. And I will be in negotiations. I will be, probably dancing in the desert. I will be, working on things that, there's going to be deadlines, and there's going to be relationships that I'm going to dive back into that I haven't really been in their personal space in a long time. I'm seeing a lot of friends that I haven't seen and going to spend some time with them. So it's going to be interesting, and I'm heading into the unknown, but then I realize kind of, aren't we all? And I I'm telling my boyfriend this because sometimes when I'll go away, I'll like miss home, like part way. I'll just be like, oh, my bed and my animals and blah, blah, blah. And I'm really going to vow to be in the moment and like just be in the motherfucking moment, like really just pull myself back. Cause like sometimes I will like float away into like my thoughts, and, I go into the future like, oh, I'm excited to go home on Monday or whatever. But no, I'm going to pull myself back, remain open, learn in the moment, just like be flexible and enjoy like where I'm at. So I think this is going to be like a really, I think this is going to be a really cool pilgrimage for me, and to just get some new perspective and like come home and like see how I feel, kind of like you did in the city, Sarah. Like I'm really curious to know, because I'm a little antsy in the country. I don't know if like full-time country is me, but I might be really excited to come home, and again, all of this is trade-offs. So you just have to kind of like live with it. But like my ideal would be to be part there, part here. And I don't know. I'd love to know, do you guys take this shit seriously? Like this retrograde stuff? I don't know. Any of this stuff that we're talking about, I want to know. Email us at hi@havessuchagoodday.com.
Indeed. And you didn't ask, but I'll tell you that I think it's all a bunch of baloney.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I mean, there is nothing about being a
Horse
Libra
hockey?
that makes me different than you.
I know.
We're just different people because that's how humans are.
Yeah.
I have no patience for astrological mumbo jumbo, but also I know that people are like, well, because you're not being open, Sarah. I realize that. I realize that I'm closed off to like some fun shit that, maybe other people are hanging out with, but like, no, this is not real. This is like, I mean, you might as well be a professional baseball player. That's how superstitious you are.
Yeah. No, I totally hear you. And I think it's interesting like intellectually, but I don't like dive right in and go, "Oh, that's, the gospel." Like I just don't. I like to like read about it, but I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it.
And I agree. I just I've had I've had conversations with people, so many over the years, where they're like, well, Sagittarius, you know how they are. And I'm like, that's not how it
Hey
works.
man, I'm a Sag.
Like, exactly. Well, I mean, and I use that as an example. Like, I'm like, I just feel like that's like, it's like a very simplistic way to like throw
It
away
is.
people's
I
feelings.
agree.
Like your feelings are your feelings. It has nothing to do with what year you were born. Like calm down, everybody. Anyway,
Maybe
I'm
it's just
sorry.
like a religion or like a book that's the gospel for you. For some people, I think these kinds of things just sort of help them to understand the world and
Sure,
understand their
sure.
lives. And I'm cool
Yeah,
with that,
I am too. I am
whatever
too.
works.
Yeah, there have been times where someone's like, but when were you born? And I was like, oh, here we go.
Like there
Yeah,
are some
like,
people that are very into it. Like it's part of their like work.
well,
It's
and Mercury in retrograde is like,
mm-hmm.
well, that's the reason that we're all crazy right now. And I'm like, is it, or is it because we're all
We're just all
crazy?
crazy.
Yeah, like, I mean,
Exactly.
some of you probably should be on medication, and the rest of us are just like having a bad week. So
Well,
yeah,
let us know your thoughts. We'd love
and
to hear from you.
I'm such a hater. I know I am, but there
We'll
is no
forgive
right
you.
answer here.
No, there isn't. No. I mean, like I said, like I hope to be flexible with, what people need to get by. I'm just like, I'm cool with that. And if I have to be a crazy goose stalker then to make me happy, then so be it. You can judge me all you want.
Oh man, I mean, I want you to love your
Oh,
geese.
I love that goose. What happened to
Yeah,
Gus? I hope he's
I
okay.
know, I know.
Anyway,
Well, listen. Speaking of folks that help us keep the lights on week after week, that's our Patreons, and we want to thank all of you who are
our
patrons
patrons.
of ours. Patreon.com/have such a good day is where you can find out more about becoming a patron if you aren't already, and if you are, thank you so much. We love y'all. We hope to have many more of y'all, and we did get not a new patron, but a patron that has come back to us that we care about very much. Didn't we, Heather?
Yeah, he's in retrograde. He's coming back to us.
Craigo, Mercury in retrograde has brought you back to the flock.
Yes,
We love
we're
you.
so stoked to have him back.
One of the geese.
No, he's awesome. He has like at least one Maine Coon cat, and he enjoys nature like us. And we have a lot to talk about. So he actually just jumped into Discord, and so
Thanks for
everyone's
coming
meeting
back,
everybody.
Craig.
Yeah, we love that you're back. And I wanted to mention also it's the month of October, which brings all the spooky stuff and the
Spooky season.
Yep, I love it. Actually, I'm into it. I know Sarah. I'm not saying like I'm really eager to dress up or anything, but I do enjoy a good horror flick. And every year, well, actually, just last year, I believe it started. We have a community board on Patreon. If you did not know, it's patreon.com/have such a good day/community. And we have some threads up there from the past and the future. The most current one is called Halloween 2, and Jake A started this. And it's essentially almost a conversation between him and me, just like geeking out about horror movies. But we'd love for you to join us. It's essentially every night we watch a different horror movie, 31 days of October. Every night it's a different one. And, it could be any kind of horror movie. I mean, I try to stick to kind of pure horror. I mean, thriller, I think you could slip one in there, but I'm trying to be somewhat sacred to the horror genre. But it's funny because Jake and I could talk about horror movies until the cows come home, and it's basically him and me talking about the last week and like what we've watched. And some of the ones that we're talking about are an old one from when I was a teenager called The Stepfather, starring Terry O'Quinn. It's a real creepy one, if you guys are interested in this. And I pulled out a classic with Joan Crawford called Straight Jacket from 1964. That's a wonderful one.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then The Howling, Joe Dante classic about werewolves, is a real good one. It's actually filmed in NorCal around Mendocino area, so that's a fun one. And The Omen from 1976, one of my all-time favorites. I have a huge crush on Gregory Peck, as you know, and every single scene is my favorite. I mean, that movie's so good. But I know, Sarah, you don't love horror movies, so I won't prattle on here. But please join us on the community board at patreon.com.
Indeed. And yes, I'm not a horror fan, but that's just because I'm a baby. And I have so many nightmares.
You're a big baby.
I'm a big baby. Me and my dog, both big babies. But like, yeah, I'm like, it just like scares me, and then I don't sleep well, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I watched The Omen before I went to bed last night, and I was like, God, that wasn't that smart. But like, I dreamt about Denzel Washington, so see, that's what I'm talking about.
You
what
clearly need to marry Denzel Washington.
I don't know what it is. I know.
Like,
need to
you're
have
like,
his babies.
no, it's so random. I'm like,
It's
is
nothing.
I
know. Should I call? Should I see if I can get in touch with
love
his
Denzel
agent?
Washington.
Just be like, hey, I've been dreaming about Denzel like more than once. I mean, don't you think you should connect us? They wouldn't think I was weird at all.
Get a hold of like one of
manager.
his agents at like CCA and be like, hi, I'm kind of in the mix, but like just wanted to let you guys
kind of in
know
the mix
that I'm like dreaming about your client a lot.
That
So
wouldn't
I
be weird at all.
Probably should meet him just to like make sure that like we're not meant to be, because I don't think we are, but like maybe we are. Like let's just like feel it out. Imagine like that conversation of people being like,
oh my God.
Okay.
There would be like a restraining order like immediately. Like, dude, seriously. See, this is what I'm talking about. See, but this is the show where I can just like talk about this stuff, like all of these wacky things that happen that maybe
Like,
it's like TMI.
I'm dreaming
but
about Denzel to the point where like it's kind of problematic, but I'm not going to hurt him.
Sarah, I might hire you to like write this email. You could be my manager. Okay.
I'll do it.
Awesome.
And just see what they say. Like,
God.
Like, how soon does the restraining order happen?
I think it's like a 6-week period or something.
Like fully locked down, or they're like, tell us more about like how much you dream about him.
Yeah, it is a very bizarre thing. But I'm really, I have to say, we so appreciate you listening and supporting us. And if you rate and review us on iTunes, it really helps others find the show. So also jump into Discord, $5 and above to talk to us real time. I mean, so much fun. I mean, you can talk to us at like 3 a.m. if you want. I mean, we may not even respond, but we're listening.
Way to sell it, Heather. What's fun about Discord is the folks that, if you're in the Discord, you already know. But it's just like a great little community. We're just chatting, between shows, between all of us, and everybody's so cool. And we would love to have more of you because, the
more the merrier,
strength in numbers,
as they say.
Exactly. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Is it though? Is that all you have to say?
Kind of for now. I mean, I have more. But.
So Sarah and I are total Bobsy twins today. I mean, we can see each other in our little window from where we record, but we both have these buns on the top of our heads and the same glasses, and it's just really funny. We didn't mean to do it.
Twinning. Like, oh my God. Oh, and nobody besides Heather will think this is funny, but I hung out with David Prager over the weekend.
Oh, Prague. I was going to ask you.
And like,
how's the Prague?
More than 3 times he was like, Heather, Sarah did this thing. And I'm like, I'm Sarah. And he's like,
You're like,
I know you're
dude.
Sarah.
It's like 20 years of this. Like he never learns.
People
I love
just,
it.
every time they look at me, they're like, you're Heather. And I want to talk about Sarah. And I'm like, no, I'm Sarah. And Heather knows it's for whatever reason, they just can't keep us straight, even though like we're not twins.
No, and like
but they
you
just
have,
can't keep
you
us
have
straight.
a really nice smile. Like I have a crooked smile. You don't. Like get it straight, Prigs.
That's
No,
not.
just
I don't think that's what people are like. Oh, you're the smile, but like they just can't keep us straight.
It's so funny.
There's something about like I don't know, general white girl.
Yeah, maybe
Same
like
hair.
fake blonde white girl. But I wonder
Yeah,
maybe this will come
who
into
knows?
play. Like we can use this for our benefit and like
Maybe.
scare people one day. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, like you thought I was Heather. F you. Rah! Like Michael Myers mask.
Yeah,
like make it like super dramatic. Where people are like, whoa, never mind.
I love it. I love it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Next time I come down. In fact, we should have a little reunion with all those peeps. That would be
It
fun.
would be nice. It would be nice.
One of these
Yeah.
days.
One of these days. Well, listen. Today we're gonna go ahead and wrap the show up because that's what we do. I'm also very hungry and I want to eat the burrito that's upstairs in my house. But thanks everybody for watching, listening, whatever you got to do. Actually, you don't watch because we don't offer that
We watch
anymore.
each other, but you can't watch us. You used to be able to watch us, and maybe someday you can again if we get if we get the right
yeah.
amount of patrons. We
That's
need a bigger
actually something
community.
that I sort of allude to that. I mean, Heather and I both do. That we would like to go back to something that's a little bit more
video based.
yeah, requires a little bit more production value. And we can't really do that. We would like to. So if that's something that you care about, do send us a note. Hi at havesuchagoodday.com and let us know. Because we're nothing without you. And we
This is
really
true.
want we want to keep everybody happy.
Sarah and I are just a mesh of one human. We're the Sether, the Hera. Yeah, we're just a two-headed person without the eyes.
We are Medusa, if you will.
Yes,
But with less
less exotic, less snakes.
murder but white. All right. Well,
on that note,
on that note, yes. See y'all next week. Thanks for sticking with us. I feel like I'm insane right now. So just if
In
you
the
also feel
membrane.
insane, like welcome to the clip. And until next week, I will remain Sarah.
and I will be Heather, who kind of looks like Sarah. Forever.
Have such a good day.
Bye.
Rah!